Amelia froze when Lucas suddenly stopped his car in front of a broken-down house on the poorest street in town. The walls were cracked. The roof looked damaged. Even the gate was hanging halfway off. She slowly turned to him. "Lucas, why are we here?" Lucas looked nervous. Very nervous. Then he said something that changed everything. "My family lives here." Amelia's smile disappeared. She had spent 1 year believing Lucas was just an average, hard-working man trying to build his life. But this level of poverty shocked her. And Lucas noticed every expression on her face, every blink, every pause. Because Amelia didn't know, Lucas Leo was secretly the son of billionaire businessman Leo Bernard. And tonight, he brought her there for one reason, to test if her love was real. But what Amelia did inside that house left Lucas completely speechless. And what happened hours later? No one saw it coming. Lucas Leo had everything most people dreamed about: private jets, luxury cars, massive companies, expensive watches, homes in different countries, and a father worth billions. Leo Bernard built one of the largest real estate empires in the country. He was powerful, respected, feared, and extremely strict. Leo Bernard believed one thing: people only love rich men for what they can offer. He repeated it constantly to Lucas: never trust easily. Women love comfort. Everyone wants access. Protect his family. Lucas hated hearing those words, not because he thought his father was weak, but because he wanted to believe real love still existed. Unlike his father, Lucas believed genuine people were still out there, people who loved hearts, not bank accounts. But life had already tested him before. His ex-girlfriend left him after discovering he donated most of his wealth to charity instead of spending wildly. She called him boring. Another woman dated him for expensive vacations. Once the gift stopped, she disappeared. Lucas became tired, exhausted. He wanted something real, something peaceful, something honest. That was when he met Amelia George, and everything felt different. Amelia wasn't rich, not even close. She worked 2 jobs. During the day, she worked at a small bookstore. At night, she helped her aunt sell food at a roadside restaurant. Her life was hard, but she never complained. She always smiled, always helped others, always remained kind, even when life was unfair. Lucas first met her on a rainy evening. His car had broken down near her bookstore. He entered the store, looking frustrated. His expensive phone had died. His assistant couldn't reach him, and heavy rain flooded the streets. Amelia noticed him standing by the door. Wet, annoyed, stressed, she walked over quietly. "You can sit over there until the rain stops." Lucas looked at her. "No need." She smiled. "You're dripping water everywhere." He laughed for the first time that day. That simple moment changed everything. She gave him coffee for free, allowed him to charge his phone, and spoke to him like a normal human being. No fake behavior, no obsession, no trying to impress him. She didn't even ask his full name. That shocked him. Most people recognized the Leo family immediately, but Amelia had no idea who he really was. And Lucas decided to keep it that way. He told her he worked as a small business consultant. A complete lie. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into love. Or at least, what felt like love. They ate street food together, walked in public parks, visited local markets, had deep conversations. Amelia often spoke about her late mother. Her mother raised her to always value people over possessions. Money comes and goes, Amelia would always say, but character stays. Lucas loved hearing that. It gave him hope. But there was one problem. His father, Leo Bernard, hated Amelia immediately. Without even meeting her, he hired private investigators, tracked her family history, watched her routines, and still found nothing bad. That frustrated him. "There must be something she wants," Leo said. "There always is." Lucas defended her. "She loves me." Leo laughed coldly. "She loves a version of you she sees." Lucas became angry. "She doesn't even know I'm rich." Leo leaned forward. "Exactly." Lucas stayed silent. Then Leo gave him an idea that would change everything. Test her. Lucas frowned. What? Show her hardship. Show her struggle. Show her poverty. If she stays, then maybe she's real. Lucas hated the idea, but the thought stayed in his head. For weeks, then months, until doubt slowly entered his heart. What if his father was right? What if Amelia was only pretending? What if one day she discovered his wealth and changed? That fear grew stronger. Then one evening, Amelia excitedly told Lucas she had been saving money for their future. She showed him a small box. Inside was a gold necklace. It belonged to her late mother, her most valuable possession. I'm keeping this on my wedding day, she said. Lucas smiled, but his mind was elsewhere, because that same night, his father called again and said something chilling. If you don't test her now, you'll regret it forever. Lucas didn't sleep that night. He stared at Amelia's photo for hours, fighting himself, fighting guilt, fighting fear. Then he made the worst decision of his life. He agreed to test her love, and he had no idea that Amelia would soon do something that would completely change him forever. But everything was about to change. The next evening, Lucas barely touched his food. He sat across from Amelia George at a small restaurant they both loved, but his mind was elsewhere. Amelia noticed immediately. What's wrong? Nothing. She raised an eyebrow. That answer usually means something is very wrong. Lucas forced a smile. It's just family issues. Amelia's expression softened. Do you want to talk about it? He looked away. That question made things harder, because she genuinely cared, and that made his guilt worse. But he continued anyway. My father lost everything. Amelia blinked. What? Lucas lowered his voice. Our business collapsed. What business? Lucas quickly corrected himself. The small company I consult for. He almost exposed himself. Amelia stared at him, confused, concerned, and completely unaware that this was all planned. Lucas continued. My father is sick. We may lose our home. We had to move. Amelia grabbed his hand immediately, and that shocked him. She didn't ask about money. She didn't complain. She simply asked, Is he okay? Lucas hesitated. That wasn't the reaction he expected. He nodded slowly. He's stable. Amelia exhaled deeply. Thank God. Then she said something that made him uncomfortable. We'll figure it out. We. That word hit him deeply. But his father's voice echoed in his head. People pretend. People lie. People leave when things get hard. Lucas continued the performance. I want you to meet my father tomorrow. Amelia smiled softly. Of course. And Lucas felt even worse, because she agreed without hesitation. But she didn't know what was waiting for her. And that changed everything. The next day, Leo Bernard removed his expensive suit. He wore old clothes, tore apart his shirt, even rubbed dirt on his shoes. The billionaire looked completely unrecognizable. His mansion staff watched in total confusion. One worker whispered, Sir, are you sure about this? Leo looked cold. This is necessary. Lucas stood there silently, watching his powerful father pretend to be poor felt strange. But he had already gone too far. There was no turning back. That evening, Lucas picked Amelia up. She wore a simple blue dress. Nothing flashy, nothing expensive, and she brought fruits. Lucas looked confused. What's that for? She smiled. For your father. He's sick, right? Lucas froze. She spent her own money buying fruits for a man she had never met. His guilt grew stronger, but the test continued. As they drove into the poorest neighborhood in town, Amelia became quiet, not judgmental, just observant. Then Lucas stopped in front of the rundown house. The exact house from the hook. Broken windows, peeling paint, rusty gate, a leaking roof. Everything looked terrible. Amelia stared quietly, then looked at Lucas and asked softly, Your family lives here? Lucas nodded. He watched her face carefully, waiting for disgust, waiting for disappointment, waiting for rejection. But she simply said, Then let's go inside. Lucas was stunned. That wasn't supposed to happen. But things were about to get even more shocking. Inside the house, The situation looked even worse. There was barely electricity. The furniture looked damaged. Water dripped from the ceiling. The kitchen was nearly empty. And Leo Bernard sat in a wheelchair, pretending to be weak. He coughed repeatedly, pretending to struggle. Amelia rushed toward him immediately. "Sir, are you okay?" Leo looked at her carefully, studying her, waiting for fake sympathy. But her concern looked real, very real. She helped adjust his blanket, prepared tea, and cleaned a broken table, without anyone asking. Leo remained silent. He was confused. This wasn't the greedy woman he expected, but he kept pushing. Then he dropped the biggest lie yet. He looked at Lucas. The hospital called. Lucas pretended to panic. "What happened?" Leo sighed dramatically. "I need urgent surgery." Amelia froze. "How much?" Leo named an outrageous amount, an amount impossible for average people. Lucas expected Amelia to panic. He expected excuses. He expected tears. Instead, she quietly stood up and disappeared into another room. Lucas looked confused. What is she doing? Even Leo looked curious. Minutes later, Amelia returned, holding the small jewelry box from Chapter 1. Lucas immediately recognized it. His heart dropped. "No!" Amelia opened it slowly. Inside was her late mother's gold necklace, her most treasured possession, the necklace she promised never to sell, the necklace she wanted to wear on her wedding day. Her hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes. But she smiled anyway. "We can sell this." Lucas stood up instantly. "No." Amelia looked at him. "Your father needs surgery. This can help." Lucas was speechless. "But this is your mother's memory." Amelia wiped her tears. "My mother also taught me something." She looked directly at him. "People matter more than possessions." That sentence destroyed Lucas emotionally, because he remembered those exact words from earlier, and now she was living them, not just saying them. Even Leo Bernard looked shaken. For the first time, the powerful billionaire couldn't speak. Amelia placed a necklace in Lucas' hand. "Sell it tomorrow." Lucas looked at the necklace, then looked at her, and realized something horrifying. He had tested the only woman who truly loved him, but that wasn't even the worst part. Lucas couldn't sleep that night. The gold necklace sat on his table, and every time he looked at it, his chest tightened. Amelia George had given up the most valuable thing she owned without hesitation, not for herself, not for attention, but to save a man she believed was his sick father. And that completely destroyed the story Lucas had been telling himself. She might be pretending. She might leave when things get hard. She might change when she sees poverty. None of it was true, and deep down, he knew it. But things got worse the next morning, because Leo Bernard still wasn't satisfied. Lucas stormed into his father's mansion. He slammed the necklace on the glass table. "She passed your test." Leo stared at the necklace. Silent, Lucas continued. "She sacrificed her dead mother's necklace. What more do you want?" Leo remained calm. "That proves she's emotional." Lucas looked confused. "What?" Leo stood up. "It does not prove she can handle this family." Lucas's anger rose. "She's genuine." Leo shook his head. "You still don't understand." Then he revealed another shocking truth. "There's something I never told you." Lucas froze. "What are you talking about?" Leo walked toward a locked drawer. He opened it, pulled out old legal documents, and placed them on the table. Lucas looked through them. Then his entire body froze, because his father had hidden something for years. A massive inheritance account, one that originally belonged to Lucas's late mother. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Properties, company shares, everything. And Lucas had never known. Leo looked at him coldly. "I protected it." Lucas looked furious. "You hid my mother's inheritance?" Leo nodded. "Yes, until I was sure you were mature enough." Lucas was shaking with anger. "That money was mine." Leo leaned forward. "And now it can become hers too." Lucas narrowed his eyes. "What are you saying?" Leo's voice became colder. "Tell Amelia the truth. Show her everything. If she stays humble, I'll bless this marriage. If she changes..." You'll finally understand me. Lucas looked disgusted. You want another test? Leo replied, this is a final one. Lucas walked away in anger, but he couldn't ignore one thing, the inheritance, his mother's hidden legacy. And now everything was becoming more complicated. But Amelia had no idea another storm was coming. And what happened next, no one was prepared for. That evening, Amelia George sat quietly at her small apartment. She was sewing torn clothes for extra income, trying to earn more money, trying to help Lucas, trying to save his father. She looked exhausted, but determined. Then someone knocked on her door. She opened it and froze. Luxury black vehicles filled the street. Men in suits stood outside. Neighbors were watching. And standing in the middle of everything was Lucas Leo. But he looked different. No casual clothes. No old car. No simple lifestyle. He wore an expensive suit, luxury watch, and stood beside Leo Bernard. Amelia looked completely confused. Lucas, what is happening? Lucas stepped forward slowly. His eyes were filled with guilt. Then he said the word she never expected. I lied to you. Silence. Complete silence. Neighbors stopped moving. Amelia looked confused. What? Lucas swallowed hard. My father isn't poor. He isn't sick. The house. The surgery. It was all fake. Amelia's face went pale. She stepped backward. No. Tears formed instantly. Lucas continued crying. I'm the son of billionaire Leo Bernard. He pointed at the cars, the companies, the money, the inheritance. It's all real. Amelia looked completely shattered. Then she whispered, You tested me? Lucas couldn't speak. Her voice broke. You watched me sell my mother's memory? Lucas cried harder. I'm sorry. Amelia screamed. Sorry. Neighbors stared in shock. She pulled the empty jewelry box from inside her room, holding it tightly. That necklace was all I had left of my mother. Lucas broke down. I know. I was wrong. I was scared. Amelia cried uncontrollably. You didn't trust me. That sentence hit harder than anything. Even Leo Bernard looked ashamed. Amelia turned toward him. And you're supposed to be a father? Leo lowered his head. She continued crying. You taught your son to fear genuine love. Silence. No one could respond. Then Amelia said something that changed everything. I don't care about your money. I wanted honesty. Lucas fell to his knees crying. And in that moment, everything changed forever. Lucas Leo remained on his knees. The entire street was silent. Neighbors watched from windows. Children stopped playing. Even the drivers beside the luxury cars looked uncomfortable. And Amelia George stood there crying. Her hands shook as she held the empty jewelry box. The necklace was gone, her mother's final gift. Gone because she believed she was saving Lucas's father. And now she had discovered everything was a lie. Lucas looked broken. I deserve your anger. Amelia said nothing. I deserve your hate. Still silence. Tears rolled down Lucas' face. But please believe this. My love for you is real. Amelia laughed painfully. Real? You lied about your entire life. Lucas lowered his head. I know. You tested my heart like I was applying for a job. That sentence hit everyone hard. Even Leo Bernard looked ashamed. Lucas slowly stood up. I can't change what I did, but I can fix what I broke. Amelia looked at him through tears. How? Lucas turned to his father. Tell her. Leo looked stunned. Tell her everything. For the first time in years, the powerful billionaire looked weak. He stepped forward. His voice was low. The necklace was never sold. Amelia froze. What? Leo snapped his fingers. One of his assistants walked forward carrying a small velvet box. Amelia's breathing became heavy. Leo opened it. Inside was her mother's necklace. Amelia burst into tears. She grabbed it immediately, holding it close to her chest. She dropped to her knees crying. That's my mother. Lucas knelt beside her. I couldn't let it be sold. The moment you handed it to me, I knew I had made the biggest mistake of my life. Amelia cried harder, but the pain wasn't fully gone. You still betrayed me. Lucas nodded. Yes, and I'll spend the rest of my life earning your trust back. Then Leo Bernard shocked everyone again. He handed Amelia legal documents. She looked confused. What is this? Leo smiled softly. The inheritance your mother deserves to witness. Amelia frowned. What? Leo looked at Lucas. This inheritance belonged to Lucas' late mother. He never knew. Lucas stared at him. Still angry, Leo continued. I was afraid wealth would destroy him, so I hid it. But after seeing what you did, I realized something. He looked at Amelia. You value people over money. You are the kind of woman this family needs. Amelia stared at him in disbelief. Then she said something nobody expected. I don't want your money. Silence. Leo blinked. What? Amelia stood up. I don't want houses. I don't want luxury cars. I don't want inheritance. I only want honesty. Lucas cried again, and this time they were tears of true regret. Weeks passed. Lucas stopped hiding. He began living honestly. No fake identities. No tests. No manipulation. He spent time rebuilding trust with Amelia. Slowly, patiently, he visited her bookstore daily. Sometimes she ignored him. Sometimes she smiled. Sometimes they simply talked. Healing wasn't instant, and that made it real. Months later, Amelia received a call. Her aunt had collapsed and needed urgent surgery. The hospital demanded payment immediately. Amelia panicked. She had nowhere near enough money, and time was running out. Then she got another call. The hospital said, the bill has been cleared. Amelia froze. By who? The nurse smiled. Your husband. Amelia frowned. Husband. She rushed to the hospital, and there stood Lucas Leo, holding flowers, wearing a nervous smile, and standing beside him was Leo Bernard. Lucas slowly walked toward her. This time, no lies. He pulled out a ring, and everyone gasped. I'm not asking you because I'm rich. I'm asking because life without you feels empty. He got on one knee, again, but this time, it's real. Tears streamed down Amelia's face. Lucas continued, you showed me what true love looks like. You sacrificed everything for people you thought needed help. You changed me. He smiled through tears. Amelia George, will you marry me? The hospital hallway became silent. Amelia cried, then laughed, then cried again, and finally said, yes. Everyone erupted in cheers. Even Leo Bernard wiped tears from his eyes. 1 year later, Lucas and Amelia built a charity foundation using part of his hidden inheritance. They helped struggling families, paid hospital bills, built shelters, and changed thousands of lives. Because Amelia reminded Lucas that wealth means nothing without compassion. And Lucas taught Amelia that genuine love can survive painful mistakes. Sometimes the biggest test in love isn't poverty, it's honesty. And sometimes people destroy the very thing they prayed for because of fear. But real love can heal when both people choose truth. So tell me, if you were Amelia, would you forgive Lucas?